Good day, guys. Today I will be explaining Zilong's builds, emblems, skills, combos, and his recent patch notes for him. So let's start off with his patch notes, shall we? So his patch notes, they up his HP regen when activating his passive, and they added a new effect where an enemy's HP is below 50%, Zilong will deal extra 30 damage to them every time he attacks the enemy hero. At the same time, that's also on his passive, by the way. That stays on his passive. Also, they also lowered the attack speed gain on his ultimate, so every time he ults now he has lower extra attack speed gain, but that's not really a big problem since Zilong's attack speed is very good already to begin with, so them lowering that is not that bad technically. So they lowered it amount by 20%, I think. It was 45% on the first level of his ult. At the max level of his ult will be 75% extra attack speed. Now it's only 35% on the first level of his ult, while it's 55% for his max ult. So first tip of the game already, always pick his second skill. And second tip already, always try to one-shot enemy minions when you are fighting at the early start of the game, because you are able to reactivate your second skill if you kill an enemy, a minion, a buff, a monster, a creep. If you kill anything, your second skill will fully cool down and you are able to use it again. But besides all of that, let's start off with this very first thing. Let's talk about his passive, shall we? His passive, Dragon Fury, how do you pronounce that? Every third attack will trigger an enhanced basic attack that will hit 3 times. As you saw from the beginning of the video, that they brought it higher, the HP regen when hitting an enemy with his passive skill, and when hitting an enemy when they are under 50% HP, Zilong will do 30 extra damage to them. His first skill, Spear Flip, it is when Zilong flips an enemy hero, bringing them behind Zilong. So this will be able to immobilize or stun an enemy hero for a short while. So let's move on to his second skill, shall we? His second skill, Spear Strike, it is when Zilong dashes to an enemy, dealing damage and reducing the enemy's defense by 15. This skill can be recharged by killing an enemy hero, creeps, or even minions. As when you kill something or anything, this skill will instantly be able to be reactivated again if you do that. So let's move on to his third and final skill, his ultimate. So for his ultimate, Supreme Warrior, this skill will increase Zilong's movement speed for 7 seconds. It will also increase his attack speed for 7 seconds as well. While doing that, he will also remove any slowdown effect on him. This skill will also make it where your passive skill, instead of 3 hits before you activate your triple hit, you will only need to attack the enemy 2 times. Then you can activate your second skill. So now that's out of the way, let's talk about some combos, shall we? I think his combos are... There's only 3 combos or 4 combos for Zilong, and these are pretty easy combos to master or memorize. So let's start off with his first combo. So this first combo is no longer used for chasing enemies down or entering a team fight. It is where you use your ultimate, then your second skill, then your first skill. The second combo I will be using next, it is normally used to prioritize a target, but this can also be used for chasing or anything else. Most of his skills are normally used for those anyway, but this is where you start with your ultimate again, but instead of your second skill, you use your first skill, then your second skill. The final combo will be you start with his first skill, second skill, or your ultimate. Or you could swap that out, where you start with his second skill, first skill, then ultimate. So practically it's not really 3, it would be 4 combos. My bad. My mind's a little bit mushy at the moment. Very tired and stressed, guys. So I'm very sorry. Now that's out of the way. Let's start off with his, I guess, his emblems, builds, and battle spells. Okay, so let's start off with the emblems. So the very first stat I've used is Swift. Swift gives me extra attack speed, which is very useful for an attack speed hero like Zilong. Master Assassin is the other one I also picked. That could change depending on your preference, but I chose Master Assassin for 1v1 situations. At the same time, you could also use Bargain Hunter, where you get the discount. That is very useful for Zilong as well, since he needs a lot of gold, especially in the early game as best as possible, because he can do a lot of damage once he starts to get his items, you know. And next is Warcry. Zilong can easily hit the enemies for 3 times, so being able to do that, Warcry is one of the best battle spells for him. Killing Spree also works, but preferably I like Warcry more. Battle spells, you could go with Inspire, Execute, Sprint, Retribution, any of those choices, as so you know how to play them. This tutorial is for EXP Zilong, so yeah, I'm using it as an EXP laner. You can play it several times different, like you could play Roam Zilong, you can play Jungle Zilong, up to your choice, but personally I like EXP Zilong more, and I don't suggest playing any of those roles. I forgot to mention emblems. Besides Assassin emblem, you could use Marksman or Fighter emblem. Those work fine with Zilong. So let's start off with his builds, shall we? My very first part of the build is his boots. I do not complete his boots, as always. I never complete my boots if I'm the EXP laner. I built the first type of boots that gives me 20% movement speed, not 20%, 20 movement speed. Next up, I built my Windtalker. Windtalker is very useful for Zilong because it gives him attack speed and movement speed, which is very useful for Zilong. After that, I built Haas Cross or Berserker Fury, but I normally go for Haas Cross first because it gives me that extra HP regen. It gives me that extra life steal that I could use against enemies where I'm gonna die. I just pop Inspire on my ult and just keep on attacking, and I just gain my HP back. Next up would be Berserker Fury, which is the third item that I normally use, but that can change depending on the enemies. If the enemies has high regen, I don't know, like Mubi or any other high life enemies, I go with Sea Halberd instead of Berserker Fury. But after that, I built Berserker Fury still, since Berserker Fury is part of his core items, and that cannot disappear from his build. After that, that would depend on you guys. If you guys want to build the boots, you can, but if you don't want to build the boots, you don't have to. Next, you could build different items for the last 2 items or for the last 3 items. Since we have 6 item slots, you either have 3 or 2 left or 1 left, depending if you build boots or not. If you build boots, that's gonna less 1 slot item. If you build Sea Halberd, that's also gonna less 1 other item, but depends on the situation of the game. My situation of the game is I don't need Sea Halberd, I don't need boots, but I think I still built boots in this match. I don't remember. For boots, you could build either rapid boots or swift boots. I think that's the name of the boots that gives you attack speed. You could build those. But for the last few items, you could either go for more attack speed and damage, or you could go with defensive items. This could be Athena Shield. Normally Athena Shield, because you normally find problems fighting against mage damage heroes, unlike fighting in physical
Aliok.
heroes. So normally
Yeah.
you would build Athena shield, but that would depend up to
Reply
your
ko na, ako
choice
kaliw.
when it comes to that.
Paralyze.
Or you could build Demon Hunter Sword, Corrosion Sight, depending on,
Patay na po sa
like I
Zilong
said,
na gitar.
the enemy's composition. If the enemy's composition
La.
is very tanky, Hunter Strike would do. Corrosion Sight is just to
Kaya
lower
Zilong.
the movement speed. That's all for it, and it gives you extra movement speed. So now that's all for it. Let's talk about some other highlights for Zilong.
Legendary now.
For Zilong, I mean. Zilong is a very fast hero, so he can rotate around the map very easily. So use that to your advantage. So here's a tip. Once you completed
Yeah, tay.
pushing the first tower or the second tower on your lane, you could go around the map rotating very easily, either rotating from gold to mid or mid to EXP, depending on the situation of the game. If you cannot win though, try to stay safe best as possible, since you don't wanna feed, because you're gonna become a bonus round if you start to feed. That's normally the case of how the game works. If you start feeding in a Zilong, you're gonna become a bonus round, or even later. But that depends on your playstyle and how you play the game. Not normally, I think I see this often, so it could count normally, but I don't wanna say it normally since it's too sad for Zilong. Zilong's what you call it, an easy play when it comes to the early game. Unlike August, he has a way to escape. Zilong does not have a way to escape in the early game. In a game where you start off without your ult, without any dash whatsoever, that's gonna be a big problem, because enemy heroes that can easily hunt you down will hunt you down very easily. So that's gonna be a big problem. So try to avoid dying as much as possible when you play in a game using Zilong.
Siya nga sa blue buff eh, nawala.
And no, I do not know any of these guys whatsoever. This is a solo rank in this server. So yeah, I don't really play solo rank. I only play
wala sa mapa.
duo, trio, or 5-man. I play that when somebody invites me, but that's it. I only do it when it comes to, especially when it comes to recording. I normally play it solo, since I don't like to. I don't like to play in a 5-man. It's not my thing. It's certainly not my thing in a 5-man team. So I can't. So I don't play 5-man as often in videos, and I only do it when I'm invited by my friends. That's all. So the guys are here right now. I don't know them at all. They're just they're absolutely randoms. At the same time, if you don't understand them, I'm very sorry. I don't plan to translate anything they say. This is the PH server after all. Philippine server. So, yeah. Anyway, that will be all for me today, guys. I think I gave every thought I could give you guys on how to play Zilong, and I hope you guys enjoy this gameplay. By the time I post this gameplay, I'm already at Mythic. Yes. This is pain. I gave up trying to get off hell in. I gave up on that video due to the reason of my device does not have enough storage capacity. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and more videos and tutorials are on the way.